Hey everyone. Please support what I do to help keep Greyhawk alive by subscribing to the channel. Also, please consider becoming a channel member to get early access to videos, exclusive live chats, quarterly adventure modules, and more. Thanks, and enjoy the show.
Now that the 5th edition era is winding down, despite whatever Wizards might say, I thought it would be interesting to talk about one of the few new Greyhawk products that they came out with for 5e today on Greyhawk Ragnar. So several years ago, it was in 2018, Wizards of the Coast came out with the Lost Laboratory of Kwalish, which is obviously named after the figure in the old first edition Dungeon Master's Guide who invented the apparatus of Kwalish, which is like a mechanical crab-like thing with pincers and can inflict damage and so forth. So they wanted to kind of build on the name. And this was a special charity module. The part of the proceeds go to a specific charity. It's what's the charity called? Um, hmm. I'll figure it out. Oh, Extra Life. There we go. um, and so they put this out about 5, 6 years ago, and it's for 5e. And I just thought it was a very interesting thing because it is one of the few new things that they've put out for Greyhawk during the 5e era. They've redone older things. There's been a new issue of some of the old modules in the Tales of the Yawning Portal, where they were updated from first edition or second edition to fifth. They've done some Greyhawky things, but mostly it's just kind of upgrading old modules to the new rules. This was one of the few examples of a brandy new module. And it's actually really good. I was surprised. The lead designer on this is Bart Carroll, who I've never heard of before, which doesn't mean much, but it's not one of those famous names that at least rings a bell with me. Um, but it's a nice little adventure. It is set in the Barrier Peaks in the world of Greyhawk, which is off my map here, which is the setting of the other famous module Expedition to the Barrier Peaks, which famously has the spaceship comes down. There will be spoilers for this adventure. I'll try to keep them to a minimum, but there's inevitably going to be spoilers. So if you have not run this, and this is one of those few times I think a spoiler warning is warranted because it was only 5 years ago and it's still in print and people might use it. Um, One of the things about this, basically the plot of the module is you're looking for the lost laboratory of Kwalish. You are being sent there by a character called the Cartophile, who will give sends you on has like a map of where Kwalish had gone into the Barrier Peaks, and then he was going to establish a laboratory there, and you're supposed to go there and find out what's going, where he is, and recover some of his artifacts or something like that. Um, and the Cardo file will give you some NPC help if needed. It's typical fifth edition stuff. There's a tiefling bard rogue. There's a monodrone. There's an Eldarin warlock. There's interesting. One thing that is kind of nice is that there's a vampire, and the vampire is actually in this walking iron coffin. It's got like mechanical legs, and it can walk around, which is kind of a cool thing. Um, and you go into the Berry Peaks. There's some really great tables for rumors and encounters, and you can find baubles, which are kind of like bits of technology that are thrown around. And you go to this. You eventually, obviously, will find one of the laboratories. Turns out that Kwalish actually has two laboratories, and you have to go from the one to the other. One of the things I really like about this module is that it is very flexible, and there's a little paragraph in there how you can actually switch the two laboratories if you want. You can have them just go to the second laboratory first, and then it gives you ideas for how to get them into the second laboratory. If you want to change around the order of the thing. So it's really nice. It's But one of the things I don't like about it is that it kind of turns the Barrier Peaks into a one-trick pony. It makes it sound like the spaceship from Expedition to the Barrier Peaks is really the defining element of the Barrier Peaks. It's not just a weird mountain range, but it's a weird mountain range because of high technology from this alien spaceship. I don't like that. I like the idea that this, obviously I'm a fan of the spaceship module. I've done a video about it, I believe. But I don't like the idea that that's all there is in the Barrier Peaks. I'd like to see all kinds of weird stuff. And one of the things they have here is is that there is a planar travel technological ship, which is, okay, fine, we get it. The ships, then every ship that comes off of Earth crashes in the Barrier Peaks for some reason. That's one weakness, I think. Um, and of course that is that they imply that there's some sort of connection between Kwalish with his knowledge of technology and inventions and so forth, and that spaceship, because why else would they place Qualish's laboratory there? Qualish is famous for mechanical inventions, so if it's going to be in the Barrier Peaks, there's at least in the back of your mind, there's going to be an implied connection. Okay, but Barrier Peaks are where technology is. Um, I'm not such a fan of that, but the module itself is really cool. There's a lot of reversals. Things aren't as they seem on the surface in several different places, which I like. I like the old switcheroo that they do in a couple of things. Um, on the whole, I'm very pleased with this module. There's some combat. There's a lot more problem solving. In places, it reads like White Plume Mountain in that respect, which is a plus for me, where it's a lot of problem solving and tactical situations and things like that. So I'm very much of a fan of those. It's got a small amount of new spells in the back. It's got some magic items, which are also some of them are technological in nature. There's some things in there that are kind of superfluous, I think, but on the whole, you're gonna get it. I get why they included it. It looks like they have included all of the monsters in the module itself, which is a nice touch, like full blown stat blocks for every monster, which is neat. And in terms of converting it from 5e to first or some other OSR game, it should be easy enough to do that. There's nothing really too outre in here. If you read through it carefully, and if you have some idea of the relative power levels between first and fifth edition, converting the monsters and so forth should be simple enough. And because there's a lot of puzzles and things like that, they it would apply itself very well to an old school game. So I will put a link to this down in the first pinned comment of the video, and in the description. But yeah, I would definitely recommend this. I have no idea what they're going to do with the pure fifth edition stuff when 5.5 or 6 or whatever they're going to call it comes out, supposedly in May. I'd grab it while you can. It's definitely a worthy addition. It adds to the lore of Greyhawk, which I always love, and it's definitely worth it. There you can get it in PDF, softcover, or even hardcover. I obviously got softcover, but it's nice to have on the shelf. And like I say, you don't need to be a Greyhawk completist for this, although it helps. But it is definitely it's an interesting adventure. It's worth running. And I think it would be a lot of fun to play in. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think in the comments. Have you read or run it? If so, let me know. And hope you're having a wonderful day and stay safe from Pinkertons.